Shabbat Perek Tet Zayin Mishnah Gimel. And we're going to continue the idea of the Mishnah that discuss what happens if you have a fire on Shabbat. How much can you save? So we learned in the last Mishnah that you're only allowed to save shalosh seudot, enough food for 3 meals. So now our Mishnah is going to be a continuation of that discussion. Says the Mishnah, Matzilin Sal Maleki Karot. What if I have a basket full of bread? So I can save the whole basket. Even though it has enough food for 100 seudot. V'igul shel dveila. The same thing is true remember that cake of figs, the fig cake that they used, and it was preserved, it was dried out, so it would last for, it was a lot of food. V'chavit shel yayin, same is true, you can save an entire barrel of wine. Why? Says the Bartenura. Ho'ilu ubabat achatu. If I'm saving, you gotta take bread out. Okay, take the basket. Ho'ilu bat achatu. Matzil, you can save it. Mali porta, mali tuva. What difference does it make? Same thing is true of the igul shel dveila. But still, that's the most amount of food you can take. You can't, if you have a basket or you have a unit that has a large amount of food, that's one thing. What about the rest of the food? The omer la'acherim, and you say to everybody else, bo v'atziu lachem. Come and save your food. Save lachem. Save for yourselves. Meaning, I can't save anymore. The rest is gone. It's going to burn up in the fire. But you can come and save. If they are pikchim, means if they are intelligent. Osim imo cheshbon achar Shabbat. They make a cheshbon. They make a calculation after Shabbat. So what in the world is this talking about? Let's see the Bartenura. The Bartenura is interesting. If they're intelligent, v'yodim, and they know, if they say afterwards, we're happy to come, but we'd like you to pass for our time. Since originally he's not hiring them as their workers, meaning if they say to him, well, how much are you going to pay us to save the food? He's not going to pay them anything. He's actually not allowed to hire them. It's not his. The Bartenura says, if they're talking about religious people, even though they can take the food as kazhefker, and what he's saving is his. Meaning, the person who owns the house, he can't save anymore. The Chazal said, whatever's left is left. So therefore he says, hey guys, save for yourselves. You're not saving for me, it's your food. Nonetheless, no lo nichale dilitane me'acherim. So even though the guy who's saving it is saving his own food, didehu, meaning the neighbor is saying, I get to, wow, I always wanted it. He's got great beer. I'm going to save his beer. Nonetheless, he doesn't want to benefit from others. And he knows that that his neighbor is making it hefker, is saying anybody can take al chorech because his house is burning down. But he doesn't want to do it for nothing. Therefore, he could take shakil agre. He could take his agre means his payment for the tircha, for the toil of saving the guy's food. So basically, according to the Bartenura, what he's saying is, if they're intelligent, he doesn't ask for the money, for the toil, for the work that he did to save the guy's food on Shabbat. He asks for the money after Shabbat. So on the one hand, you say, very nice. Like, really, if I'm a neighbor and my neighbor calls and says, hey, my house is burning down. Anybody wants to come and take the food? So really, I could take the food. It could be mine. The Cheerios are mine. He made it hefker. But I'm a nice guy. He's going to lose the money. I don't want to make it hefker. I don't want, it's his. I'll give it back to him. But I'm not going to do it for nothing. This part bothers me. This is the part that bothers me. He doesn't want to do it for nothing. Like, really? The guy's house is burning down, and all you can think about is, well, you're going to pay me. You'll pay me after Shabbat. Well, where are you about the deal? I'll give you my bill after Shabbat. Sure, your house is burned down. It's very difficult. So I see in the Kahati quotes he has in the end, he quotes a different perush. There are a couple of other perushim about what it means if they're pikchim. But he quotes the perush of Rabbi Chaim Albeck. And he says, if they're pikchim, if they understand that he doesn't really want to give them the food, osim cheshbon, they make a deal, meaning the food goes to waste. They didn't have like Cheerios that would last. They didn't have cans and boxes. But osim imo cheshbon achar Shabbat, they take the food and they eat it, and then they pay him back for it after Shabbat. Because that's the way that they can savor him the most. That's the way they can pay him back the most. This poor guy. Otherwise, according to the Bartenura, like really, the guy's house is burning down. And you're trying to, give him a bill for how much work you did to save his house. I hope other people would be, the neighbors would be helpful. Says the Mishnah, Where do you save it? L'chatzer ha'me'orevet. To the chatzer me'orevet. Me'orevet from the word eruv. The courtyard that has an eruv. Ben b'teira omer, afal she'eina me'orevet. Ben b'teira says you can save it even to the chatzer that doesn't have an eruv. Let's go back to our picture from yesterday. As we learned, is a mavoi. This is a courtyard, a chatzer. And we learned that each courtyard usually did an eruv chatzerot. And if you wanted to carry from one courtyard to another, you would do what's called a shituf mivoot. Okay, that's a mavoi. You would do and shituf mivoot is just like an eruv, but it's for the mavoi. So we learned in last Mishnah, Mishnah Aleph, that when we said matzilin otam b'bnei adleka, the kitvei hakodesh, you could save them to mavoi. She'in the machlokit was the mavoi, is it mefulash or ina mefulash? Meaning, when you're saving your books, you're saving a Sefer Torah or a Navi, you can save even from one chatzer to another chatzer in the mavoi. But here, when we're talking about saving food, we're no longer in the status of mavoi. We save it to chatzer me'orevet. Now you can only save it, I can take it out of this house, but into another house in the chatzer, only in the chatzer. And according to Ben Betera, it's chatzer she'eina me'orevet. The question is, nobody says you can take it out of the chatzer. You cannot take it into the mavoi. Unless it was, if you have an eruv, then you have an eruv. I don't know, it's an interesting question. I don't know, if you did a shituf, could you save it? Interesting question. I don't know, we'll ask a posek. But the machlokit is, can I save it if we did an eruv? The Tanna Kama says only if we did an eruv. And Ben Betera says, even if you didn't do the actual eruv this Shabbat, nonetheless you could save it into the chatzer she'eina me'orevet. But nobody says you can take it past there into the rest of the mavoi. We'll stop here. If you have any comments or questions, as always, email me. We'll dedicate our learning to the memory of my father, Rav Simcha ben Yitzchak.